Hey movement athletes, welcome to part 2 of our video. If you haven't already seen part 1, please check that video over here to the right. For the 7th progression, we'll take what we just did in the 6th progression from being in the pike stand needle kick, and we'll transfer it to the box in the figure 7 shape and do a single leg lift. So very similar action, just now elevated. So getting into the 7 shape handstand and one leg at a time, lifting one leg to vertical, replacing it, and lifting the other one. Okay, so really the same exercise we just did, but now we're completely stacked on top of the hands. The leg is getting vertical now. And then coming back out the way we came in. So while you're doing this figure 7 single leg lift, you can get to the point where you can compress so much and balance it where it almost feels like your bottom leg is floating on top of the box. It shouldn't feel like you have all your weight on top of it, but rather stack it and you're balanced and almost grazing the top of the box while you're alternating and replacing. So really good progression. Now we're starting to move a little bit away from the aid and we're feeling what a stacked handstand is like with a little bit of that box help. The 8th progression we have for you are the mini kick-ups. So now we'll start to address kicking up more in real speed rather than a slow and controlled fashion. We're going to go through the real momentum that will start to be built up from it. So we'll do the mini kick-ups first by starting in a pike stand / down dog type position. The hands will be glued to the floor here. Now Blake's shoulders should stay on top of the hands at all time. We've got the rounded shape, so you want to keep this fixed for the most part. It shouldn't move and deviate so much back and forth. Okay, now we're going to put one leg back, and notice his front leg is going to be bent and it will push off the floor while the rear leg will rise up behind. Okay, so we'll do mini kick-ups. We don't need to go very high. We want to focus on consistency, rhythmical, coordinated from the bent leg in the front to the rear leg swinging in the back, shoulders on top of hands, good shape. Okay, consistency. That's all we're focusing on right now. And then as we get better, we can start to kick a little further and start to work towards vertical. So let's try a little bit more. And we're going to try to get the rear leg, meaning the straight leg, more towards vertical. We don't need to worry about this other leg meeting it yet. We're just trying to find vertical and come back down with consistency and control. Really good example. Okay, and again, I think it's good to work both sides. So you could try 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, and work on that consistency. You don't want to have the legs shooting backwards, leaning the shoulders forwards and backwards, and having completely different kicks on each one. You want to focus on that similar fashion because you're trying to build this skill for kicking into handstand well. So those are the mini kick-ups. Okay, our 9th progression is continuing working on the kick to handstand piece. So we'll take what we just did on the floor with the mini kick-ups, bring it to the wall so we can get all the way to vertical with that second leg meeting. So we'll start off right in front of the wall in the same shape as we just did. And we're really transferring the mini kick-up all the way to vertical at the wall. And notice that it's not accelerating into the wall. It shouldn't be smashing. You're trying to find vertical and have this other leg meet it now. And you don't have to worry about tipping over because the wall's there. Okay, and again, working on consistency, both legs, but finishing the action all the way to vertical is how we're advancing this piece. So that is the kick to handstand at the wall, putting all the preceding elements before it into one piece, kicking to handstand. Okay, our 10th progression will be what I call leg switches, and we'll do this back facing the wall. So we'll start off in how we just kicked up the handstand. So we'll kick up, arrive. We've got to move the hands a little bit further away from the wall for this one. So they'll be tilted in, maybe it's a tight arch, but either way, it's going to be tilted in. And we're going to be alternating the leg away from the wall, okay? So trying to balance momentarily as you switch. So again, we never have 2 feet on the wall and we never have 2 feet in handstand. And you're just focusing on the switching of the legs in this back facing the wall handstand. So we're training that balance of being really in a handstand for a split moment and then the coordination of switching your legs while you're in a handstand. So this is the leg switch with the back facing the wall handstand. This brings us to our 11th progression, which is the freestanding kick to handstand, no aid, no wall. And we're at this point because we've gotten the preceding elements properly. So the standing to the T shape, the pike position to the needle kick, the figure 7 leg raise, the mini kick-ups, all of those before this are important to have well before we arrive at this freestanding kick to handstand. Also, you have to make sure you know how to bail out of this. But if you found yourself kicking to handstand and smashing your legs into the wall, you would expect this will probably go past handstand, and I would back up, go back to the wall, and make sure you can arrive at handstand at a quiet fashion where your legs are not smashing, but rather arriving to handstand in vertical. Okay, so we'll start with the arms up. All right, let's go through all the phases of kicking the handstand. Lunging, T-shape, needle, handstand, and reversing back down. Good, let's go one more time. Good. Nice, okay, so we've kicked a handstand with a smooth motion. We didn't overdo it, didn't tip over, and we hit all the phases before. You saw Blake was standing with the lunge, the T-shape, the needle, arrive with the second leg going to vertical, and then reversing back where he came from. So that's what should happen if you did all of the elements before this to the kick to handstand. That's the 11th progression, and we'll show you one more bonus one after this. We've got a bonus progression for you if you happen to have a buddy that can help spot you with this, because the 11 preceding progressions were solo, but if you have a friend, I really like this one for helping progress the handstand to freestanding. So like we'll show you this one together. So kicking the handstand, person that's spotting will start off at the top. I'm at the ankles. This should be the easiest that this will be. And what I will be doing is moving my hands gradually lower and lower to see if Blake can still hold this handstand. And once I get towards the core and the hips, it starts to get noticeably different. You can see there's a little wave that might happen in the body. And I'm going to be working towards the shoulders, still giving them a bracing here. Down to the arms. You really try to get all the way down to the wrists for this one. Okay. So it gets harder and harder the closer I go to the base. So this is a really good exercise to hold at the core and see if the person can stabilize, and the person spotting really can handle and maneuver the person back into a balanced position if they need to. But you do need a buddy to help spot you with this one. I would not start with this exercise. You have to be pretty proficient at the kick to handstand and very close to freestanding handstand and knowing how to bail before heading into this one. But great exercise to move away from any kind of aid and see if you can handle closer to the freestanding. So that wraps up our video on the progressions towards the freestanding handstand, where we addressed both the strength progressions for starting to obtain the freestanding handstand, as well as the skill development for kicking into the handstand. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, check out the shoulder mobility work for handstands if you find that you're having limitation. But comment down below, let us know what you thought of the progressions we have, the 11 that we did from coming from the wall handstand and arriving to the kicking to handstand. So let us know if you're stuck on anything, if we can elaborate on anything, let us know how it went. And then you're on your way towards the freestanding handstand, as well as what happens after that, like maybe handstand push-ups, press the handstand. So it's an exciting time to be. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Really quick, if you want to get started with calisthenics but are unsure of how to do so, I highly recommend trying our free calisthenics assessment. It will only take you 5 minutes to complete, and you'll receive a detailed, personalized training program, complete with recommendations and workouts you can use right away. If you found these videos helpful, please click the like button below and leave any comments or questions you might have in the comment section below. See you next time.